So maybe I should start with answering your question because it will lead me to what you asked me. I will say very briefly that up until maybe 3 decades ago, and you can ask researchers that are working with Jewish mysticism all across the universities, it was very uncommon to study Jewish mysticism. There was a board here about Gershom Shalom. He was a weirdo. And when you start to study Jewish mysticism, you realize that you have what they taught us, the form of Judaism, and a lot of ideas that are hiding within mystical texts that are very unorthodox. More than that, when they become artificial objects, it's like the limits become non-existent. And then we see that there are a lot of things that are being completely, it's like the artifacts are taking the mystical text even one step further than even the mystical text allows itself, if it's making sense what I'm saying. And then we're seeing a lot of things. I am now working on a Passover magical bowl from the Chashmon Museum that completely looks like the Shekhinah in a human figure, and we're trying to prove it. We see a lot of humane figures that shouldn't be there, but they do, including demons on Passover bowls. Like the stars, they are not even the weirdest thing that you can find on mystical objects, but you do see them. And what they do is that they try to find a lot of reasons of why those common customs are okay. The stars are actually under the king, which is God, and that makes it okay because he's actually the one that decides what's going to happen, and then the stars are like only carrying it away. And I'll tell you more than that. There's stuff that you cannot write in an academic research like that. The use of those stars, minus the fact that they look completely like the stars of the ancient goddesses, exactly the same one, he's using it pretty much the same way, but you can't say it, you can't really prove it, but it's there. And for me, what I feel that the ideas that couldn't find their proper home within formal Judaism, they slipped into mystical Judaism, and this is how they were expressed, because listen, the world was dark, people were sick, everything was dangerous. And when you want your daughter or son to get married and to everything would be okay and the labors will go fine, and you're not exactly the rabbi in the yeshiva, then all of the things that you believe in is just a mix of things, and you're doing what you can in order to protect them, even if the main rabbi doesn't totally agree with what you're doing. There's a really interesting phenomena that within the Jewish world, we know that there were a lot of arguing within the rabbis about magical beliefs and how they perform them, like the Chuppah. We know that there are a lot of rabbis that are speaking against this costume. And we know that rabbis that supported them, they performed the rituals. I mean, they were the ones under the chuppah when the couple got married, but they never wrote that they support them, although it was present. And I think that the stars also, they hold a very feminine quality. And this is something which is very, very powerful within Jewish mysticism. And this is also part of why I wanted to study and research those areas. Because sometimes it feels that you are lacking a lot of feminine and women knowledge within formal Judaism. It's there, you just need to go through the mystical writings that are obviously forbidden. When you start to work with those aspects of feminine symbols and feminine symbols in Jewish mysticism, it opens the world to a knowledge that I feel was taken from us. So when I wrote about Jewish art, I wanted to do something which is connected to folklore, but also to the feminine knowledge. And I know it's a lot of things that I'm saying within a minute. I would strongly recommend to read Tzachi Weiss' writings. He is a researcher that is writing exactly about those things, about what they did to the status of the Shekhinah in early Kabbalah. And he actually said that she was very powerful, almost as a goddess all to herself. And they feared so much that people would go back in the first centuries to worship both male and female, that they did everything they could in Jewish mysticism to turn her into kind of an extension of the male. But ideas are something that are very hard to fight. So when you're struggling to fight them, you have a let out in the form of the magical beliefs that the simple people are doing. But it was very much present, and again, it's not even the weirdest thing that I've seen.
Thank you. I love it that we're talking about weird things. Is there a further question?